Good afternoon and welcome to our special edition of She Solidarity Live. Happy Independence Day to the United States of America, which is my home country now. I am so privileged to be chatting with our guest today. She is an author, award-winning career coach, speaker, and trainer with over a decade of experience running a global business. I'm not going to keep you waiting. I'm going to bring up our speaker for today. And we are so privileged to have Ms. Jenny Garret with us this afternoon. She's worked with individuals and organizations, and she has been using her unique combination of skills around gender balance, leadership, and self improvement to inspire and empower achieving career and life-changing results beyond expectations around the world. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, we have Miss Jenny Garret. Jenny,
Oh,
thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great. I thank you for that lovely introduction. And I'm also very honored to be speaking to you on Independence Day. I think I feel very, very honored to be your guest today.
Yes, happy Independence Day to the United States. And with everything that is going on, it's good to have something to celebrate and reflect. But I mean, I am so incredibly happy about today because of the topic we'll be talking about. And we'll be talking about your book, Rocking Your Role, the how-to guide to success for female breadwinners. A topic that, I mean, up until this discussion came up, we've had in informal setting, but nothing thinking about deeply. And so I'm so excited to hear your thoughts and especially the way you've organized your book to hear all the backstory, the inside story. We have an hour, so it will be a speed conversation, but we are so excited and privileged to have you. So before we dive into the book, we just want to hear from you. Who is Jenny Garret? What is your background? How has the journey been to getting into writing your first book?
Great, thank you. That's a big question. Who is Jenny Garret? That's a big question. Well, I was born in the UK. My parents are from the Caribbean. My dad is from Jamaica, and my mum is from St. Lucia. So two small islands in the Caribbean, well, came together and made me. They both left the Caribbean in their teenage years, and they lived in northwest London. I had very humble beginnings. My mum and dad did not stay together long. So I grew up in very humble beginnings. I guess you might call it the projects in America. So an estate, we call it in the UK. And when I was about maybe in my teenage years, my mum, who decided to train to be a teacher. And that, I think, was quite an inspiring thing for us to see my mum training to do something with her life and get a degree. And I remember my brother and I at the time saying, if I get a degree and my brother gets a degree alongside my mum's degree, we'll be the 3 degrees. I don't know if you ever remember, there was a group called the 3 degrees. So we said we will aim to be the 3 degrees. And I think the mother is a very powerful role model in the family. And my mum definitely was and still is for me. And so her aspirations to do more for herself led me to want to do the same. So I ended up studying and getting a degree myself, and then going into work in roles in corporate organizations. I was responsible for marketing in a number of organizations, which I loved. I thought marketing was going to be my thing. I loved marketing, creating brochures, marketing out to other organizations. I liked its creativity. I liked what it stood for. But then in my final role, before I started my own business, I had a marketing role, and a colleague who's now a really good friend came into my office, and she just said, "Where next? Where are you going to go with your career?" And I just thought, well, I'm here, I'm doing it, you know. And she said to me, no, she said, you can get a bigger team or a bigger budget somewhere else. You could start training people in marketing. There's more that you can do. And, you know, I still thank her for seeing the potential in me and for giving me feedback that I could stretch myself and do more. She was one of very few Black women in the organization like myself. So it was just so nice of her to kind of take me under her wing and give me a push. The things that she suggested I didn't want to do. I wasn't a confident public speaker then, so I didn't want to start training people. I didn't want to get a bigger budget or a bigger team elsewhere because my role was quite close to my home and my daughter was very small and I just wanted to be able to get home. But then she said to me, what about coaching? She said, faculty come into your office, they come away motivated, they come away with actions. Maybe you could coach people. And I thought, well, actually, I don't know if I can coach people, but if the organization is willing to support me to get a qualification, then why not? So I went on a coaching program and I found it personally and professionally transformational. Just made me look at myself differently, the world differently, and the power of those conversations to change people's lives just blew my mind, really. You know, that you could have a conversation and it could just make someone recognize the power within themselves or make big choices about their lives that could make them so much happier. And I thought, this is what I want to do all the time. So I went back to my organization after finishing the qualification and said, I want to be a coach. I don't want to be a marketer anymore. And they said, well, you're employed as a marketer. That's your job. You can do a little bit of coaching, but that will be it. And I felt really stuck. And I don't know if you felt like that or any of the people listening have felt like that, but it's really not a nice feeling to know that there's something that you really want to do that's going to make your heart sing, that's going to make a difference in the world, but actually you're boxed into this thing that pays your wages, and that's all you kind of know. So I felt stuck, but I got a coach myself, and between me and my coach, we decided I should try to go down to 4 days in my job, and on the 5th day, see if I could do some coaching. See if I really would like coaching, if it was just a dream or if it's something I would really like. See if I could make any money. See if I could find some clients. So I did. And within a year, I became freelance. And that's 15 years ago now that I've been on this journey of running my own business. But you specifically asked me about my book. And about 8 years ago now, the anniversary of my book was actually last weekend. I launched my book, Rocking Your Role, and I'd never written a book before. It was more about the subject matter. I was Googling one day, just saw this topic, female breadwinners, started reading about it and thought, I'm a female breadwinner actually, and realized that as a woman, I've never talked about it. You know, me and my girlfriends would talk about everything, every single thing, but not about the fact that we were main earners in our home. And it's a little bit like if you get a new car, Joyce, you know, you look around, you get this new car, and suddenly you see that new car everywhere. You see that kind of car everywhere. I started seeing female breadwinners everywhere. I started recognizing it in my friends. I started realizing that sometimes my clients said something like, I'm in a role reversal relationship. And what they were saying is, I am a female breadwinner. And I just thought this needs to be spoken about. It's a bit of a taboo topic. But women should be talking about this, and women should be able to celebrate being the female breadwinner, not be ashamed of it. And so I started researching, and it was actually an American woman who was the turning point for my book, because she said to me, when I started researching, I was the main earner in my home, and those were dark days in my life, she said. And I thought, dark days? No, they should be the best days, because you should be proud. And that's when I decided to write Rocking Your Role. So I'll stop talking. I know I've been talking a long time. Maybe you want to say something.
No, it's fantastic and it's fascinating. And the title says Rocking Your Role, which when I looked at it, it was very interesting to me because the roles as being defined as women stays home and they are the mothers. We are the mothers take care of the children. Occasionally you work, but you normally work part-time or very little contribution financially. And then men went out and worked and brought in the money. So the role really belonged to men as we've defined it in society. So when I saw the title, Rocky Your Role, I was like, that is new. So how do we as women become comfortable in this role? You know, a few weeks ago, I was reading a book and it was talking about how the World War II changed the dynamics of work, because a lot of men were at war and women started filling in, especially in America, in the factories, and pushing more women out in the workplace. So even though women working has always been a thing, and more predominantly between World War II and afterwards, we've still never settled in, and it's never been a comfortable environment. So how do we take on this role? You know, how does this become our role?
Okay. Well, I just want to say, first of all, that women have been the breadwinner for a long time. And even though people are saying this is a new thing, it's not new. And even African tribes, years in the old days, the women were the hunter and gatherers. The men were the ones who stayed back, years and years ago. And it's been going on for generation to generation. But what's happened is it's been something that has been quiet. So when the woman is the main earner, she is quiet. When the man is the main earner, he is proud and bold and shouts about it. My grandmother, when my grandmother and grandfather were alive, they lived in London. They came from St. Lucia. My grandfather lost his job in a car factory. He never ever got another job. And my grandmother did roles in factories. She was the main earner, and she was so good with her money. And so I think that the thing about what we have to remember is this is not new. Women have been doing it forever, in fact. But now I think is a time not to be ashamed of it. Yeah, they're not to feel guilty about it, but to have some pride in the fact that you can do it. So, if you are the woman who is the main earner in your home, you should be proud. You're holding your family together. You're putting food on the table. You're the lights are on because of you. And why should there be any shame in that? You are not taking anything from anyone else. In fact, if you're in a relationship, you're sharing the load. And you know what? What you're doing quite often is releasing men from a lot of pressure. One of the first interviews I had after writing the book was on BBC Radio 4. And they played a clip from an author called Parsons, his surname is. And he said, as a man, I should go to work day after day in a job I hate to be the breadwinner. It shouldn't matter if my life is unhappy and miserable as long as I do that. Over my dead body would a woman earn more than me. Yeah, right. So that was his opinion. The thing is that woman with a man in a relationship who is unhappy in his job ends up being an unhappy woman. Because if a man day in, day out is doing the thing that he hates just to put money, bread on the table, when he could be sharing the load with a woman, or she could be the breadwinner, how does that make sense? So many men are released to do pursuits that are not just about money when a woman chooses to be the main earner. They could do more creative things. Some men want to be musicians or artists or these sorts of things. They can never do that if their role is only to be the breadwinner. So one of the things to think about is actually it often releases people to pursue what makes them happy. Yeah, that's one of the things. The other is that actually your partner has to be proud of you and thankful to you. And there's something about in life, I think, choosing the right partner. You don't know how it's going to go. When I got married, and I've been married 20 years, I did not know. Yeah, it's a long time. That makes me feel very old. I didn't know that I would be the breadwinner at any point. I didn't have that view. So we've had to grow and develop together and deal with the situations as they've come up together. And actually, couples often don't talk about money. They don't talk about their in-laws, money, household chores. These are the things that we argue about the most. So often we don't talk about it. But I was forced through writing my book to have conversations with money with my husband. And this is key. You have to communicate, or else it becomes the elephant in the room. It becomes the thing that you are both angry about. Either as a woman, you're angry that you're having to bring all the money in, or as the man, you're angry that you cannot contribute in the way that you want to. So you have to have conversations about money and decide how you are going to deal with it. Now, there is not one best way. Some people put all the money together and say it's our money. Other people have their separate bank accounts and have a pot together. Sometimes, even when women are the breadwinner and the main earner or the only earner, they'll let the man manage the money. These are your choices, and it's up to you, but you need to be talking about money. And it has to be part of the conversation, or else it is the thing that will tear you apart. So communication is key. It's key to any relationship, but communicating about money becomes very important. Down to how you will have conversations when you go to a restaurant, when we're one day allowed to go back out into restaurants, and the waiter always gives the bill to who? The man.
Yes.
Always, always. So what do you do? Do you slide the card under the table so that the man can pay? Do you make a joke or something and say, I'm paying today, it's his birthday, but then never go back because it can't be his birthday every time? What do? You have to have conversations about these things and think about how you're going to handle these situations so that you both feel comfortable and both feel confident to be able to deal with it. Often men are not so uncomfortable about it, but what they're uncomfortable about is how others will tease them about their situation. So in itself, they're fine. But actually, will the waiter think, oh, they're lazy? Will your mother, the mother-in-law say, why don't you earn as much? And so you as a couple have to be strong in your situation and know what you bring. Because even if a man doesn't bring the most money, they can bring other things. Maybe they are caring for the children. Maybe they are caring for you. Actually, a lovely example is a man, an English man. I did a talk about female breadwinners, and he talked about himself as a stay-at-home dad and husband. And he said, I think of myself like a McLaren pit stop. So, the Formula One racing, you go into a pit stop when you've been racing and they quickly change your tires and they buff the car up and they let you go out again fast. And they have to do it very quickly. He said he is the pit stop. His wife comes home, he changes her tires, he buffs her up, makes sure she's all right so she can go out again. And he saw that as his role. And that's an important role. It's an important role in supporting her to do the work that she can do. It's an important role in making sure that she feels comfortable and she's not burdened with all of the household responsibilities so that she can go out and she knows that he is taking care of things. So a man can have a very important role, but the woman has to value that. Yeah. If a woman is the main earner and she says, oh, he's at home, he's lazy, he's not doing anything, the house is still dirty, the kids are still, nappies are not, not changed. If that is the man, then that he's not doing a role, he needs to find his role within it. And that's really, really important.
So I'm so glad you mentioned the communication, how we talk about these things, because how we talk about everything presents an image which can be good or can be bad or can be somewhere in between. And so on Tea Solidarity, we are focused on diaspora women and women on the continent. And in a lot of African cultures, as you said, women has been really the strong backbones and holding families together. And yet women has also been at the back, and then men rather push forward, and men seen as, the man has to take care of the women and all those different roles that are very well defined. So in this day and age where there is a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities, a lot of our viewers are women entrepreneurs. So in starting out, one of the things you said is, you started small, you had your job, and then taking one day to experiment or to test the process out and growing. So what advice do you have for our viewers who are interested in entrepreneurship, and wanting to go out and do something like that, but at the same time with the expectation that, oh, if this is successful, now I'm going to make all this money, and how does that change the dynamics of the family? How does the partner, if they have partners, support them in trying to grow the business that they're trying to start?
Okay, so big question, really. I mean, in starting a business, I would say the big thing is why. Why? Why do you want to start a business? What difference do you want to make in the world through your business? That's where you start, because the road to running your own business is a very tough one. There are obstacles. It's a roller coaster of ups and downs. It's long hours. It's a hard slog. And so to do this, you must be very connected with it. It must matter to you. You must care about it passionately, the difference that you want to make. It can be anything. It can be, I'm making pens, but these pens I know are going to be the pens that are for the writers who write the best work. And that work they're going to write is the work that's going to change the world. Whatever it is, you must be so connected with it. So that's my starting point. Don't just start a business. Oh, I've heard there's this new thing out, new windows. I'll just sell windows. No, why do you want to sell windows? Who is it that you're selling windows to? What difference is it going to make for them? So be very connected with why, first of all. For me, that's the key thing, because that will be the thing that helps you in the dark days, in the difficult times, when the phone's not ringing and no inquiries are coming. If you're consistently know and you're passionate about it, you will persevere and you'll have that grit that keeps you going. So I'd say that number one, the first, know why. The second is, I think you have to be consistent. Too often what I find is that people start on an idea, on a path, and then they veer off. Oh, I've tried it for a couple of weeks. Now it's not working. I'm going to try something else. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to try something else. Now, I'm not saying that you don't evolve and grow, because anyone who's fixed, you'll get left behind, so I'm not saying that, but you have to keep going consistently, because people are watching you. Yeah. And if you keep changing, they see that and they think, well, this person doesn't really know who they are or what they're about. So often I've had conversations with someone in a year, it's 12 months before they come back to me and say, I'd like some coaching or I'd like some training in my business. It's a long process. If I had decided, oh, they didn't want what I have, I'll do something else. I again, I'm starting from scratch to build up my track record. So you do have to know there is a time lag between when you start and when you're actually going to get the real customers that you want. And you have to know what you'll do in that time to make sure that you have enough money coming in. And one of the things that I really learned was that actually you have to charge enough. So the thing about it is, I think with us as women is that we undervalue and we undercharge ourselves. There's a pay gap. There's a gender pay gap and there's an ethnicity pay gap. So as women of color, we're suffering on both of those fronts, that we have been underpaid forever in so many ways. And we, as entrepreneurs, I think can do something about that. We can say, actually, I don't have to just be paid what people say I will. I can decide what I will be paid and charge my worth. And a calculation that I always tell entrepreneurs is that you only are going to be paid you're only going to do a third of your time do the work you love. So if I'm making things or providing a service, that's probably a third of my time. A third of my time will be spent on admin. A third of my time will be spent marketing. So that third of my time needs to be 100% of my salary. Yeah. So you really have to think about how much you charge for that third of your time. It's very, very important. Otherwise, you won't make ends meet. Your business will end up not being able to survive. You'll never be able to employ anyone or anything like that. So, these are things that you have to think about when you're starting your business. It's very important. And think beyond your family and friends. Often people think, well, my family and friends are going to be my customers. You can't rely on them to be your customers. You have to be thinking further than that. You have to be thinking about how you'll reach more people than that. You can't just, rely on them to be your customers. And with that, because you need to extend beyond your family and friends, you have to be willing to be visible. Like me and you right now. We're out on Facebook. Who knows who's watching? Who knows who's going to see it? But you have to be willing to do that. And so often I see women say, oh, I'm really scared. I'm really scared about being on video, on a podcast, even writing a blog. What if people don't like it? What if people disagree? What if people say bad things? They're not your people. If those are the people, those people see it, they're just not your people. But by putting yourself out there, you attract your tribe. The people who get it and like it will follow you and will become your customers. Your clients will support you in whatever way. So you have to be willing to be visible. And this is very, very important. The last thing I'm going to say about that is that, and connecting it with being a female breadwinner, is that sometimes the closest people to you won't get your vision. They won't get it. They won't understand it. So when I started my business as a coach, my mum, who loves me and is very supportive and who now works for me, said at the time, coaching is just a fad. Don't give up your pension, your well-paid job to do this thing that's not going to last very long. That's insane. So she did not support me. She did not encourage me. But now she gets it and she's on my side. So I would say you need to build a network of people who get it. And sometimes it won't be your partner. Sometimes it won't be your sister, your mother, your brother, but they will come around when you become successful. So sometimes you have to go against the people who really love you, because they might have very valid reasons not to support you. They might be cautious, they might be worried about your financial security, all of these things. But also sometimes what it is if you change, if you're brave, then what's their excuse for not being brave anymore? Yeah. If you can do it, why can't they do it? And sometimes that shows them up. So sometimes it's because of that they don't also support you, but they do come around. So sometimes you're going out on your own and you have to build a network of people, new people who get it, until those people come around too. And with that in mind, that's what sometimes happens when you become the female breadwinner, that you might not have even expected your own success. And you might have to work with your partner to recognize the new you, your new success, the new way you see things, the new way you do things. And it requires, again, as I've said, communication, to sit down and say, this is where we are now. This is maybe not where we expected to be, but what are we going to do with this new situation in the new way that we're living? How can we work through this together? Because nothing is permanent. You might be the female breadwinner now. You might not be in a couple of years' time, or you might be forever. Who knows? So I think it's always about working with where you are and thinking about how you deal with your current situation, which might change.
So I watched an interview that you had done in the past, and something you said, and I want to talk a bit about that. And you were talking about the image of, little girls. Being a good girl, you get reward. Being a bad girl, you don't get rewards. And oftentimes when people see a woman who is a breadwinner or climbing the corporate ladder, there is a tag of disapproval that comes with that, if I may use that word. Oftentimes people think you're cold, you are callous, and people, it's almost like you're a misunderstood person. So how do we as women get comfortable that there is nothing wrong being in that position or pursuing those things and just keep pushing through?
Yeah, I always think about it like the fairy tale stories. You know, we're told that the handsome prince is supposed to ride up on his horse and rescue us. Um, and this is how I think about it. We need to rewrite the fairy tales. And that's not easy, but that's what we need to do. Either as women, we're rescuing ourselves, you know, who needs the him on his white horse? We can get on our own horse, or we rescue that prince right back. And now for us in this day and age, we need to keep moving through this, because those are old stories. Then we need to rewrite the script. It's not true. It was never true. I don't think it was ever true. And so we need to stop buying into that. Now, I know sometimes people don't get it. There will be times when people see you and think, well, I had it, you know, I wasn't always in the playground to pick up my daughter, and people making judgments about that and sometimes people can try and make you feel guilty. But you have to know why you do what you do. Right now, my daughter, who's 18 now, says to me, I'm so proud of you. You've taught me how to be a strong woman. And if I had stopped when I felt the guilt in the playground, maybe I wouldn't have taught her how to realize her own ambitions in life. So it's about looking at the big picture and looking at the long game, which is why are you doing it and where is it taking you? And through anything that you go through, it might be a bit painful and a bit uncomfortable at times. And you might question yourself, but how does society change if there are not people who are pioneering, if there are not people who are willing to make change happen? And that's who we have to be. We have to be the pioneering ones who can stand up and say, you know what, I'm going to do things differently. And in truth, we're not doing things that differently. We're just being open about it. We're just openly saying, this is the truth of life. The truth is that quite often, particularly women of color, we are the breadwinner. And actually that benefits us. So if you're employed, you know, sometimes our bosses will think that women are coming to work to, you know, just to supplement the income. If the man's income is the important income, our income is just to supplement it. Once you're able to say to your boss, you know what, I'm the breadwinner, this is important to me. Actually, that means that they start to see the seriousness of the decisions that they make around your salary and around your career. So to be honest, we just have to be more open and deal with, you know, if somebody thinks you're an alpha female or whatever, that's their problem. It's not really our problem. It's one of the things I think you have to become comfortable in your own skin, so that when people project all of their stuff onto you, it just washes off, because it's about them. It's not about you. If someone says to you, oh, you know, you're all about your career and your ambition and you're too hard and you're this and that, that's often about them thinking, why did I sacrifice my career? Why am I doing the stuff that I really want to be doing in life? It's most of the time, it's not really about you. It's about them. And so, and you know, I do not think that one thing is better than the other. If you are happy to be at home and be a homemaker, power to you. If you want to work part-time and look after your children, power to you. If you want to work full-time and manage your life in that way, power to you. I'm not trying to say there is a best way at all. But what I'm trying to say is that actually you choose your path and you own it. Just own it and don't feel guilt. One of the things that I don't know if I say that in the book, but one of the things I've come to think about in terms of guilt is guilt is a set of rules that you create, that you decide you cannot break. Yeah, we live by these rules that we've created. They're not anyone else's rules. They're rules that we've created, and we've decided we cannot break them. but those rules often come from how we were brought up or how elders have spoken to us. And when you sit down, they will and think about it, they were living a different life to us. So you need to write your rules down, tear that rule book up, and create your own rules to live your life by. Because what my mum or my grandmother decided were the rules of their life in 2020, those rules are not going to work for me. So why am I going to feel guilty that I'm not following those old rules? No, I need to create the rules for my life that work for me. And when I do that, I won't feel guilty anymore. So actually, an exercise that the people watching need to do is just think, what are the rules I'm living by? Oh, a good mom must do this. A good woman must do this. A good wife must do this. Yeah, who said those things? Did I say them or did I hear them in church or from an elder or whatever? Okay, now I know where they've come from. Are they really appropriate for me and in 2020, the life I'm living? And some of them might be, but the ones that aren't, cross them through and replace them with the rules that now work for you.
So, that is a lot for us to absorb, and I'm just so excited and listening to all of this. But one of the things that we see a lot is that people become so attached to their job and their job titles, and they at some point they just merge into one person. So if it's if they are not being, I don't know, Joyce the doctor, then Joyce is lost. Those, and you mentioned something that sometimes the roles become reversed. At one point you might be the main earner in your family, and things might change, and so you go back to a different role where your partner becomes the main earner in your family. And I think that there is a struggle to deal with that, especially when we live in a world that you become so defined by what you do. I mean, I live in the DC area, and I always tell people that one of the interesting things is whenever I went anywhere networking, people always ask, what do you do, even before they ask what your name is. So it's almost like if you told them what you did and it wasn't important to them, then there's nothing going to happen after that. They just move on. And become so attached to our titles and our jobs that it's almost like when it's taken away, we are stripped bare and we don't have any identity anymore. So how do we get in these roles and still maintain our personality and our individuality so that when things change, it's not trauma, or it doesn't really put much stress on our families and our relationships?
Such a good question. I think it's really important. And I think at this COVID-19 time, I think a lot of people have probably been asking themselves that question. A lot of people have been furloughed. We call it in the UK. I don't know if you call it the same thing in the US. And some people have been very lost. Other people have taken the opportunity to find out who they actually are. But I think there is no doubt when your work is taken away or changed in some way that you won't feel a sense of loss. So I think whoever you are, however much work you've done to become self-aware and know yourself, that you won't feel an experience of some sort of loss. So what I want to say is, with any change, there's loss, there's uncertainty, and then there's a new beginning. Always. However, how quickly you go through that process is about actually knowing yourself and knowing that you have an identity beyond that. For me, to answer your question, there's something that deep within myself that I've built around resilience. And I don't know if you see that I run personal resilience retreats. And for me, the heart of that is I always know that whatever the situation is, I will be okay. I completely trust that I will be okay, however life changes, because I know that within myself is a huge resourcefulness. And everyone needs to build that within themselves. That level of resilience that is not about the job. It's not about your relationship with your partner. It's about you. That people have been building their.
Yes. We will be. Give us 1 second. We just lost Jenny. Internet connection. So we'll be right back as she joins us. But if you are watching with us, feel free to post your questions that you have for Jenny, and Jenny will be answering questions in a few minutes. And also, someone asked, how can you get a copy of Jenny's book? Jenny's book is on Amazon UK. So you can go on Amazon UK and order Jenny's book titled Rocking Your Role, with a very nice high heel with the money high heel on. So we will, as we wait to get Jenny back, just give us 1 second as we look to get Jenny. She's trying to join us and she will be with us shortly. It has been a very interesting conversation, and I think that this is a great time for us to internalize some of the principles that Jenny has been sharing with us and look at what we can do as we continue to grow as women entrepreneurs, and also women who are in the career world, and also women who are staying at home. That being a stay-at-home mom is not. Um, oh, we have Jenny back, so I'm going to um, have her continue. All right, thank you. Now we have Jenny back, so please continue.
I don't know where did you stop hearing me from? I'm not sure. We're
Um,
talking about resilience.
Yes, you were talking about resilience, and you had just mentioned the resilient retreat and how we need to build it for each one of us.
Yes. So for me, I use a model that's around emotional intelligence, looking after your physical well-being, knowing about your own purpose, your strengths and your qualities around that. And I bring it all together so that you can think about actually build your own resilience. That's what we do on the retreats, and we do it in a really creative way. So, so for me, this is what you have to work on. Once you build your own personal resilience, you know what your strengths are. You know you can trust yourself and know that you'll always be okay, even when your situation changes, however it changes. And I think that's the work we need to do, so that we're not just about a job title or about our status. You know, I have a fancy car or a great house. These things are not permanent. You never know what's going to happen. So you need to build that inner resilience. And yeah, we're running our retreats virtually now, and they're amazing. So we have people from all over the world join them, and this is what I think now with COVID-19, with all that's happening around Black Lives Matters, particularly what's happening with Black Lives Matters. I'm talking to I'm talking to people of color, and we're talking so much about trauma that we've experienced, about fatigue with the fact that this has been going on for 400 years and we're still experiencing it. This is when we really need to work on our resilience to be okay.
Yeah, and that's such an interesting point to make, especially in the US and all over the world. I mean, talking about Black Lives Matters and, you know, the stress and fatigue, especially of women of color, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in the home, whether it's in the community. It's almost like you have to, as a woman of color, you have to be strong, you have to be the good friend, you have to be a good listener, you have to be the emotional support, you have to be the caretaker, you have to be everything to everyone at the same time. And sometimes we forget how that impacts us as people, because I mean, you are always taking on and nobody's taking off you. So with time you begin to break down. And I hope that please give us the link to the resilience retreat, and we'll share it with our audience. And women, this is a great advantage to recharge, having taking time off to connect and to really talk to other women, and just have a conversation where you are not judged, but you are just being listened to and you're just sharing. So we hope that more people will take advantage of that and join in. One of the things that I want to talk about in your book, as I was going through your book, is the organization, the way that you have organized. Not only is it title and then just the write up there, but there are tools, really step by step tools that you can go through. And then there is a point for reflection for you to reflect, which leads to really action taking, journaling. And you give some really incredible tools in the book. And I just wanted us to talk about that a little bit. That what is the idea and thoughts behind that? I mean, I read it 2 days ago, and I have already started incorporating some of the tools that you give into my own daily routine, especially when it comes to journaling and how important to just pour your mind out without thinking. So I just want us to talk about that a little bit and just really gives our viewers a sense of what they will be getting once they get a hold of this book.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a coach at the heart of everything I do. And as coaches, what we want to do is really help people practically make change. So I didn't want to just write a book that was just, oh, this is how it is, this is terrible, or this is hard. I wanted to write something that could be transformational. And that's our aim, that it's going to transform your life, and you will do things differently, feel different, and think differently as a result. So throughout the book, there's little spaces where it says reflection, and it tells you to write things that I will ask you a coaching question, and you will have to write and think about what I'm talking about. So, you know, sometimes you read a book, oh, that was nice, but nothing's changed in your life. The idea is that as you work through this book, as you work through each point, things will be changed for you. And there are lots of practices and coaching tools, from even a framework on how to have a conversation with your partner about money, to actually thinking about where in your family you sit. What role do you play in your wider family? And how does that now play out in your relationship? Were you always the responsible one and the sensible one? And now you're having to be that in this relationship you have with your partner. You know, what is going on? So it really helps you reflect and analyze your own life. And this is the process that I went through in order to become confident and comfortable as a main earner in my home. But there are exercises that anyone can do. And even I've had some men read the book and do the exercises too. So it's really interesting. But they've said to me they've hidden the cover of the book. They've put a newspaper over it so no one can see the red and the high heel. But the point of it is that this book is a highly practical book. And as you work through it, you will be transformed. And I also give you ideas, because one of the big things is I talk about me being main earner, but me is also me as a person, or you as a person. And the thing that women really don't do is they don't take me time. They don't have time for themselves. You were just saying it, as a woman of color right now, with what's happening with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, we're having to be everything, not just to our own family and our community, but also white people are now saying, tell us what it's like to be Black. Tell us what you want us to do. Tell us, educate us on racism. And it's like, oh my goodness, another layer of things that we have to do on our shoulders. And, you know, it's not selfish to take some time out for you. You know, in fact, it's more selfish just to give and give and give, because you are going to make yourself ill. You are not going to be there for your family in the long term if you're always giving everything and being a martyr to everyone. Oh, I'm there for you. I don't eat enough. I don't sleep enough. I'm going to give and give and give. But if you give nothing back to yourself, you won't be there for them in the future. So what I encourage women to do is take me time, even if it's small, even if it's having a nice bubble bath, even if it's going for a little walk, even if it's just reading, listening to your favorite podcast, even if this now, listening to me and Joyce, is your me time, take it and own it for yourself. Because if you don't, it's going to be, you know, what is life? Life needs to be worth living. And it's not just about giving. You need to fill your cup before you can give from that cup to other people. So what I find with women who are the main earner is often that there's so much responsibility on their shoulders is that they don't take time out for themselves. Even just a night out with your girlfriends to laugh, you know, just to laugh and have fun. You know, these things can keep you going for a long time, but not doing them because you've got so much other responsibility is not a good thing to do. So yeah, I provide practical ideas on having me time. I give you spaces for reflection. Get your journal alongside buying my book so that you can write down all of your reflections and really get to know yourself and unpack your own behavior and your own thoughts and your own feelings. And I also provide ideas on strategies you can use to help you through coaching tools. Basically, these are things to self-coach yourself through this process of being the main earner.
And one of the things that I learned about you too is that you are on a couple of nonprofit charities providing mentorship and providing really education to youth of color in the UK and around the world. And as business women or just women, I've had this conversation with a lot of people that how we all need mentors in our lives. And it can be formal, it can be informal, you know, it can come in different ways, like your colleague who said, hey, what is next for you? Can spark a conversation that changes everything. So in looking for a mentor or looking to just really have a conversation with someone, sometimes we are so intimidated or we are reserved about how we go about it. Oh my gosh, if I want to talk to Jenny, she's a successful author, coach, busy. Will she have the time to talk to me? How do we go about these processes to really reach other people that we're seeking to learn from, to get advice, to get mentorship?
Okay, such a good question, actually. And I think that sometimes you're absolutely right. Sometimes people are so busy that to say to them, could I have an hour a month with you for the next 12 months? It's just not going to be possible. And I think you have to judge that, you know, what you could ask someone for. But I think you should think about what's the one question that I really would like to know. And I would say, approach them and say, you know, either are you happy for me to email you, or are you happy to have a short chat with me? I'd like to know this. And it might be, I'd just like to know your career journey, or it might be, actually, I really want to be better at networking, or I really want to get to the next level in my career. Can you just share, you know, give me 10, 15 minutes of my time in order to do so? And you just ask, and quite often people are happy to talk about themselves and their journey. Often people are happy to give back in some way, but if you don't ask, there's no chance of you getting it. And the other thing I'd say is ask 3 times. So sometimes you send a message and you don't get a response. don't think the person doesn't want to do it. It might just be that it slipped to the bottom of their to-do list and they've got a lot of other things. Ask again, in a couple of weeks. If you don't have a response. And again, if you don't hear, ask one more time. Give people 3 opportunities, because what I find is that people will look at it and they'll think, I want to do it. But then they might think, oh my goodness, I've got all this other stuff to do. And give them 3 opportunities. You will not be badgering them. If they don't want to respond after the 3rd time, then you give up and they haven't responded. That's fine. But I would always ask 3 times. That's my top tip. And I would try not to get everything from one person. Someone might be great at public speaking. Someone might be great at networking. Someone might be great at helping you write your LinkedIn profile. So don't try and get everything from one person. We all have our unique strengths. Think about that person. Really think, know what it is they have to offer you, and ask them about that one thing. It's not like marriage. You can have a lot of mentors. You don't have to have only one and be stuck with them forever. You can have lots and it's okay. So do that, and you're sharing the load on them, as well as getting lots of different perspectives. So, drop them a line, drop them an email, ask if you can have a call. If you meet them personally, if you've been able to meet them face to face, can we have a coffee? Can I buy you lunch? Make sure that you pay if you're asking for lots of advice as well.
No, great advice. And I'm going to ask you for the reverse too, because you are very busy. We all get so busy, but we get asked all the time, can you do this? So how do you manage your career and still be able to give back? Because especially for women of color, it's so important that we have to be out there and helping and pulling other women along. So it's almost like another job on its own, trying to really motivate young girls, young women, and even young colleagues that we can't relax. We have to push this through. So how do you find the balance in this, and how do you pick organizations that you choose to be involved in?
Yeah, I got to admit, first of all, that sometimes I'm out of balance. I'm not a perfect person. And sometimes it's just like, oh my gosh, there's too much going on. How am I going to cope with all of this? So I want to just say that, first of all, I'm so not perfect. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes it's easier than other times. So I really want to say that, because I have a social enterprise called Rocking Your Teens. We founded it 5 years ago. When we're running up to our events, sometimes I'm thinking, why on earth did I start this? This is so much work. This is too much. And then the event happens and I think, oh, this is brilliant. I'm so happy we're doing this. It's all worth it. But there are times when it feels like it's too much. So I just want to share that, I don't get it right all the time. I think I decide what my passions are. There are people who have come to me to support initiatives, and I just say, that's not really my lane. I don't really know enough about this topic. It's not the thing that I want to speak about so much. This is what I care about. So I think you have to decide, because everything matters. Everything matters. There are so many challenges in the world. There's homelessness, there's poverty, there's domestic violence, there's the next generation, there's racism. There's so much. I could go on, and you have to decide, what, this is the lane that I'm going to support people in right now. And you have to make a decision around that. Otherwise, you just get spread too thinly. But I also create rules around my life. So what I found was that I could be out every night of the week, networking, delivering talks, supporting charities. And I created some rules, like I will only be out 2 nights a week max. Obviously, during COVID-19, I haven't been out. But before that, I just said, and I would say to people, this is a rule. I do 2 nights. Unfortunately, that week I've already got 2 nights, so I can't do it. And so you have to create your rules. I only support this kind of charity. I only mentor for free a certain number of people each year. And people know that. I tell people, I publicly say, there are a few pro bono places of mentoring that I do each year. This is them. And you get on that list or you don't. And so I am clear about what I can and cannot do. And once you publicly say that to people, you know, this is what I'm capable of, people don't argue with you. I've had a couple of people for charities when they've sort of wanted to talk to me about it, and then I've said, this is not my thing. They've been upset with me, but actually, you know, I can only do so much, and they'd be more upset with me if I said I can do it and then I didn't do it well. So, you know, I have to decide what I'm capable of. Or I'd be more upset with myself if I didn't see my family and I was giving, but actually the people close to me didn't get anything of me. So you just have to weigh these things up, really.
And I'm going to ask you about technology. COVID has really highlighted all the deficiencies that we had, or the gaps in the way that we had operated for a long time, as well as also highlighted the opportunities that exist when we use technology. For like right now, you're in the UK, I'm in Washington, D.C., and we are chatting. We don't have to, I don't have to get on a flight, and you don't have to do that. And I went on YouTube and found tons of speaking engagements that you have done and listened to them, as well as other platforms. And so for women entrepreneurs, most of the time people ask questions and say, you know, I don't have money, I cannot afford X, Y, and Z. How do we use technology and the digital world to help us to grow in our career?
Well, I think you've summed it up in a way. It's amazing that now I can go anywhere. So just before COVID, I was supposed to go to South Africa and deliver a women's leadership program. And because of COVID, it all got cancelled. And I really do want to go to South Africa, actually. You know, I really want to stand my feet on the soil and see the beauty around me. But we are still able to deliver the program. So I'm going to deliver it online for them. And I think that's amazing that I can still reach these women. Of course, I'm not going to get the sights and the smells and the everything that comes with it, but I'm still seeing them on the screen. They'll still get the learning from me. And I think it's breaking down those barriers. Yeah, I'm not going to get there, but I am going to be there. I will have reached lots of people in South Africa as a result. And for me, social media, YouTube, all of these things have been great at getting my message all over the world. And my book, you know, I've had clients from Australia, America, Africa, because they found me via the internet. And it's wonderful that that can happen. So although in a way it feels like the world's getting smaller because we're not allowed to go anywhere, and the world is mostly our homes now, and our, you know, one room in our home where we've got a computer, whatever, the world is also our oyster. And the people who really want to find you can find you now, but they'll only find you if you put yourself out there. So get good at technology. It's not that complicated. You know, it's really not that hard. It's great if you have support, I think, to be able to talk and then someone else manage all the technical stuff. But even if you haven't got both that, you can do it. So be brave, I would say, around technology. Play around, try it. It's not as complicated as you think it is. You can't get that much wrong. And also people are so forgiving because the technology sometimes goes down, but people are okay with that. And I also think because most of the time you're in the comfort of your home now, they get to see the real you. They get to see you're in your natural environment, and you don't put on the airs and graces that you might do when you're on a big stage. And so they get to see who you really are, the essence of you. And I think the more you can show the essence of you, the more that you attract people. So I would encourage you, do a podcast, you know, do a video, a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live. Just play around, be playful. Does it have to be perfect? Actually, people are not attracted to perfection. Yeah. They're attracted to real. Be real, and you'll find that it will deliver for your brand and for all the work that you're doing. And even if you're employed and you're thinking, well, I haven't got a brand, I haven't got a company, just start talking about something that you care about. There's someone I know who likes drinking beer, a woman of color who likes drinking beer, and she's got a whole website, a blog, I should say, about beer. And she talks about that, and she's got such a huge following. I know another woman who's really loves filofaxes, you know, those organizers.
Yeah.
And she's got a whole blog around filofaxes, and she's got her following. It's not about her job, but, you know, talk about what you love, what interests you, and you'll see you'll attract your tribe, and you'll build your profile, and you'll start to expose yourself to lots more people, and people will come to you, and you'll see how that grows and it evolves. So don't be afraid of technology. Try it. Lots of things are free. Zoom, MS Teams, Google, Hangouts, they're all free. Try it. What have you got to lose? Facebook, Instagram. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. New connections.
So my last question to you. COVID, again, has exposed and highlighted a lot of different things, and people have taken it in different ways. To some people, it's been a good in a way, because it's given them the opportunity to reset and regroup. To some, it's been devastated because it has shattered their world as they know it beyond the way that they don't know how to repair it. So there is a commonality of all of us grieving for those who have lost their lives. We've seen how hard the medical professions and other professions are working, being in the front lines and working to get us through this, and we are grateful. But when it comes to individually as women and as women entrepreneurs, what is your advice, and what are the words, your sage words for us during these times that it's so crazy that one way or the other we are all I don't know anybody, I haven't spoken to anybody who is saying this has done nothing to me, I have not been impacted or changed in any way.
Oh, I think there's so much to say on that, to be honest with you. The first thing is that I think in the beginning, we all went into overdrive and we all were coping so well. And then I think as we realized that this is a marathon, it's not a short sprint, this is a long-term thing, we've become fatigued and exhausted. And I think we've got to actually slow down and notice that and take care of ourselves. You know, it's so easy if you are able to work from home to work and work and work. And I think it's very important to be able to know when you're switching off and to take good breaks, because actually this is taking a toll on us. There's a global fatigue. You know, people are still dying. We still don't know when this will end. There's so much uncertainty that we need to actually just be gentle with ourselves through this process. So I think that's the first thing. How can you take care of yourself? How can you nurture yourself? How can you look after yourself within this? Women are more adversely affected by this because a lot of women are mothers, and a lot of mothers are homeschooling. Even if you're not a mother, you might have elderly relatives who you are shielding and trying to look after in this time. A lot of caring goes down to the lives of women. So we won't just be having to look after ourselves, we'll be worrying and caring about others. And even if you don't have children or elderly relatives, maybe you're looking out for neighbors or people like that. So this is a lot of emotional and caring stuff that we are giving out, which is exhausting for us, which makes it even more important to care for ourselves during this time. What we've also, the research has found, is that women are doing even more housework than they ever did before. So even if you have a partner, they work full-time, you work full-time. For some reason, because you're home more, you're ending up doing more of the cooking and the cleaning. And so just to have a conversation about redistributing that if you can. If you were lucky enough to have help in some way at home, like a cleaner or someone doing your ironing, well, those people cannot come to your home at the moment. So again, it's falling on your shoulders. So what can you do to be able to manage that and to be able to take into account that a lot more of your hours of your life are being put into this area? And what does that mean for your work? What does that mean for your relationship? If you have a relationship, can you make sure that you have a conversation about distributing it better? Also, those women who have violent households, unfortunately, there's been a spike in domestic violence and not being able to get away in this time. And that's really challenging also. But if you are employed, is there any way you can have a conversation with your employer to think about the flexibility they give you in your job, to think about how much they're giving you to do in your job? I know a lot of people are worried because it's uncertain times, and they don't want to give their organization any excuse to lay them off. But actually, your employers should be practicing compassionate leadership, should be really thinking about the flexibility they give you, and how this is taking a toll on you. So even if you don't talk directly to your boss, is there something you can do as a group of colleagues to think about what you need to succeed at this time? And, you know, because it's hard. And I think it's hard, even if it's easy, even if you've got, like me, a room in your home to do your work, even if, like me, you can do your work online, there's still a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. There's still longer hours. There's still trying to manage yourself. It still takes its toll doing online all the time. And I think we just need to be, you know, compassionate with ourselves around this time. So that's my thing, really. Take some time out, look after you, think about what you need. Don't just treat yourself like you're a machine. You're not. You're a human being. And so you need to really think about what you need during this time, and don't carry on exactly as you did before. It's not exactly as you were before. Life has changed, and you need to consider what needs to be done in this time.
And I was looking at your book and I found it on Amazon UK. So for those who are not able to access Amazon UK, are there any other platforms that they will be able to purchase this from?
Yeah, I mean, you could just email me, to be honest, if you want me to post it to you. So I don't know. I'm just going to check my website now, because I think you can get it from my website, but I'm not sure if I've changed it. So I'm going to just quickly check my website and see if you can get it from there. I might only have a link by the book. Yeah, I've got a link to Amazon only. So I think it might, if you go to my website and contact me, I can just send you a PayPal link and post it to you. So I'll just give it to your, put it in your host chat. That's so that's my website, and just that's the contact on my website. And you can just email me. You can just email me. That might be wrong, which I just sent actually. Let me just try again. So it's that one. Yeah. So if you just email me, I can send it to you, no problem. And I can sign it as well. I used to have a link just to buy it from me, but I must have taken it off. But yeah, you can do that. I have a stock of books, so I'm very happy to send a signed copy to people. No problem at all.
So I'll be posting that at the bottom of our chats, because people go back and rewatch it, so they will find it. So those who cannot access it through Amazon UK, you can go through Jenny's website and then get your copy. And I highly, highly recommend that you grab a copy of this. I mean, I picked it up late in the evening and I read it through almost all morning, and then the next day to continue. And I still want to go back and take time to really look at the tools, the reflection, and then just do those reflection, because I think that they are really useful tools that you would have to pay a lot of money for, but you get it all in that book. And it's really practical for any woman who is interested about, you know, rocking their role as a female breadwinner, or even just having conversation with your family, with your partners, with your friends around wealth building, around income inequality, and just really about money. I think that it's a really useful book to have as a female. So I will recommend it to every and all women and men as well to pick it up and go through it. You'll find something for you. So I am Jenny,
Just to say, I just found it. It is on Amazon US as well. So I just posted the link there for you.
okay, great. So US viewers, Amazon Prime, next day you'll get it. And you can get it on Kindle, which is how I got mine on my Kindle. So right away I could get it and just start reading. So if you have Amazon Kindle, you can get it as well from Amazon through the Kindle. So thank you so much, Jenny. This has been a wonderful afternoon and evening. Thank you for joining us. We are so excited to have this conversation with you. And with She Solidarity, what we are doing is really building a movement and coalition of women of color, supporting each other, advocating for things that matters to women. And so we are really lucky and privileged to have you as one of our speakers for the conversations that we've been having. And we look forward to a long-lasting relationship with you. So this is not a one-time thing. We'll be coming back to you. So
Right.
yeah, please do make room on your calendar for us. But we definitely want to continue engaging with all the incredible women that we've had on the program and had conversations with. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And we look forward to engaging with you again very soon. And for all our viewers, thank you so much for all the times that you've joined us. Again, the live will be posted on our Facebook page, so you can go back, rewatch it, save it, share it with your friends. And we look forward to next week joining you again with a conversation on the informal sector, how you organize and plan managing your finances. And we have a wonderful professor who has done a lot of work in this area who will be discussing about the informal sector. So, all my American friends, Independence Day, celebrate responsibly and celebrate responsibly. Bashful 6 feet max. Don't forget about that if you decide to go out. And we look forward to seeing everyone. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you. Take care.